Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is our 9th lecture and the last before the first minor. In this lecture, we will cover air pollutants, thermal pollution, PSE, computers. What is air pollutants? We have already talked about acid rain earlier on, the sulfur content of coal. Luckily, we do not have much sulfur in Indian coal, barring the coal from Assam that has sulfur, but coal from Zaria, Jharkhand, Bihar, Chandrapur, rest part of the country hardly contains any sulfur. But there are other acids like nitric acids, and those acids can always fall back on the earth, and because of that there can be impaired visibility. As I told you, whenever there is a pollution, you always rub your eyes because that smoke, even the cooking, while cooking in olden days, the ladies used to have problem with their eyes because of the smoke coming out of that cow dung or even those wooden things. The pollutions not only damage the human beings, the heart, the lungs, the brain, the eyes, but they even damage to buildings and vegetation. Even vegetation gets affected. Buildings, you know, the famous the incidents of Taj Mahal becoming yellow because of the Mathura refinery. So Mathura refinery is dangerously close to Taj Mahal. In fact, many of the small scale industries in Agra were ordered to be closed because they were threat to the beauty of Taj Mahal. Sulfate concentrations of 9 to 10 microgram per meter cube of air aggravate asthma and lung and heart disease. Of course, we are lucky that we do not have much of sulfur, but then this is common for rest of the world. We are talking in general, not just for India. I am sure those of you who are doing the various energy courses, in fact all of you must be doing, barring the electives where you have a choice, the fuel group must have taught you or maybe teaching you next time, next semester, coal liquefaction and coal gasification. This is a separate area in itself. There is a PhD thesis going on in those two areas, especially for students belonging to chemistry and chemical background. What happens when you liquefy or you gasify? Of course, there is a money for that. You have to have a liquefaction plant, gasification plant, you have to spend money, but the advantage is the coal which comes out of this is a much better quality, and the pollution gets reduced to a significant extent. In fact, sulfur is totally removed. Of course, as I said, it may not be important for India, but then it is important for the world, and who knows where you will be working after you get your degree here. So sulfur recovery plant is very important to remove the sulfur. NO2, that's there in India, it's also a problem for India. Nitrous oxides, in fact it is NOx, it's a major concern as far as our country is concerned. Why? Because it is soluble in water and there is a water vapor everywhere in the atmosphere. Even without its getting contaminated or contact with water, you can always inhale. That is why you must be seeing nowadays many people even walk with a mask on, whether there is a plague or whether there is any problem in the city or not. Especially on two-wheelers, those who drive two-wheelers, you must be seeing the people having the mask and then driving. In fact, in Taiwan it is a must. It's like a helmet. If you don't have a mask, they won't allow you on the roads because of to avoid pollution. So if you inhale those gases, it will affect your lungs, and there is a water inside the body as well. And if the body inhaled gas combines, it forms nitrous and nitric acids inside the body, and you can see how acid can play havoc with the various parts of the bodies. It can do anything, and it can result even in death or permanent problems. So how fearful or how frightening is the prospect if you have increased pollutions because of the increased power generation. And as I have been repeating, we have to generate as much power in next 10 years as much we have already installed in last 50 years, that is 100,000 megawatt. And if you want to install 100,000 megawatt, look how much preparation we have to do to avoid the pollution because of this 100,000 megawatt. As you see at the levels of 25 to 100 parts per million, this PPP, NOx, at this level, suppose must be seeing the pollution watch in several channels, TV news program. They show you the pollution watch so that you get aware what are the different pollutants that can affect you. So they show it every day on TV news channels. It can cause you acute bronchitis and pneumonia. People die of pneumonia. People die of malaria. Don't think that these diseases nobody dies. So pneumonia, somebody can, his life can be finished. There are advanced technology to tackle these problems. The man is always by nature adventurous, and he or she wants to tackle the problems that they face. So here they are trying to develop the advanced burners. As I told you, on burner design there can be a major project, minor project, or even PhD thesis, so that there is a complete combustion takes place before emission, before exhaust, so that at least there is no danger of CO or lower oxides of nitrogen, because CO is more harmful than CO2. And if you see the exhaust from the vehicle, if there are white fumes, they are more dangerous than dangerously looking black fumes. Black fumes are not so dangerous because that's the combustion, shows combustion is complete. But if there are white fumes coming out, don't think they are harmless, they are more harmful. So very toxic also. These pollutants are very toxic. And major cause of global warming, and that is being seen in the world every day. This summer was very harsh in Europe. They all remembered fans. In fact, India was lucky and beneficiary of getting an export order of fans, because there were never fans in those countries because it was not required. If you go to Jammu Kashmir, even today, you will see that there are no fans in the houses because they are not required. But Kashmir temperature this whole summer was above 30, sometimes as high as Delhi temperature. It was never so in the past. This is all signs of increased global warming, and this global warming will raise the level of sea also. There are some countries in the world who are below sea level, and then there can be problem. As I said, few of the villages in Andhra coast are already drowned because of the enhanced level of sea. And as I told you, there may not be any Sri Lanka, Mauritius, the small Malta, small islands may not be there if we continue like this for another 20 years. The whole geography will change. What is hydrocarbons? The oxidation processes take place inside the heat chamber, where the the steam is being prepared, whether by nuclear or by thermal or by anything. And in combustion chamber, certain hydrocarbons may be formed. These are the compounds which are major source of photochemical reaction. These are all bad and adds to depletion of ozone layer. I am sure this ozone layer keeps you safe from sun, the over global warming. When you go to Australia or New Zealand or all these countries, why that 35 degrees centigrade is more harmful than our 40 degrees centigrade? There in 30 degree they feel so awful, you know, because their ozone layer has already depleted, which has not happened in our country so far, because our generation is hardly any 100,000 megawatt. So that is why in all these pollution conferences, whether it is a Rio, whether it is a what is called Japan, the Kyoto conference, Kyoto resolution, it's the developed world which is creating this pollution and asking us, giving us advice not to create one, whereas it is they who are creating this problem. Okay. If you go by per capita, we are hardly responsible for creating any type of pollution, including vehicular pollution, because the number of vehicles even today are much lower per person as compared to, you may always say that our population is so high, but these are the statistics which are always per capita, whether you like it or not. Fly ash, as I told you, many mission projects are going on in India. What is mission project? Any project which has more than 1 crore funding and which has a mission, national mission, is called a mission project. The funding is by DST, Department of Science and Technology. IIT Delhi has several such mission projects. One of them has the title of fly ash. This fly ash project is very important, very topical, very much concerned of today's population. What do you do with the fly ash? Because this is definitely going to be, I don't know whether you are aware, our this head Avinash Chandra has left for US for 15 days. Is he teaching any course to you? No, he is just going to US to get training for 15 days to establish an ESP lab in Energy Center. What is ESP? Electrostatic precipitator. And that, what does it do? It collects this fly ash. So you will have a good lab being developed. Hopefully it will be developed before you people leave. Now dust content is very high. You go especially in semi-arid zone, Rajasthan, even in Delhi there was the black storm comes in summertime, and there is a dust content goes up, visibility gets dropped during those storms. Particles come out of the stack. What is stack? Chimney. The taller the stack, better it is, but taller means more money. Maintenance is always a problem. How to reach there, how to clean it, the soot from inside, outside, So there is always a optimum height to which you can build your chimney, but higher the chimney, better it is for locality living nearby, because that emission will get dispersed and it will be diversified, it will go on a long distance, it won't come down immediately. So it will not affect the population living below so much as the smaller chimney would have affected. Now fly ash is nothing but it comprises of fine particles of what? Carbon, ash and other inert materials. What is inert? Inert, you must have heard name in chemistry, inert gas, which has no reaction with, and it is bad in the sense you can't remove it. If it does not react, if somebody does not talk, how do I interact with you? So if I want to interact with you, you have to respond. If you remain like this, whatever I may say, then I have to stop after some time. So there are inert materials. Suppose such fly ash is in high concentrations. right? Again it will reduce visibility. What poor visibility can cause? Accidents. As it is, there are enough accidents, and if visibility is poor, not only accidents, it will delay your arrival at whatever place you are going. You will be delayed. You have to come out of your house sufficiently in advance. Suppose you are going to station, you are going to airport, you are likely to miss your flight, you are likely to miss your train, you are likely to miss your interview, you are likely to miss your class. Imagine an evening program, the students literally rush every day to reach here at 6:30, and sometimes they reach by 7, 6:45 and they lose class. And then you do not get interested. Once you have missed first 20 minutes, you do not know what the teacher, as it is, people do not understand what teacher is talking. And if you miss them for 20 minutes, God only help them. Respiratory diseases, very bad. I told you asthma, after 2 children out of 5 in Delhi are asthmatic. Any disease is bad for that matter. I will not agree that this disease is more worse than that this disease. No, every disease has its own problems. It hampers your activities, your progress, your efficiency. Just a minor cold will put your one hand busy all the time with your handkerchief or your tissue paper. Nowadays is a tissue culture. So you are always busy and your mind is preoccupied and you feel something is bad today. So you are not able to concentrate on whatever you do, just minor cold, where people say if you take medicine, it will get cured in a week. If you do not take medicine, still it will get cured in a week. So that disease, the harmless disease, also creates problems. Precipitators can be used to remove particles as the flue gases rise up this tank. Electrostatic precipitators you can collect. The main problem does not stop there, it starts after collection. What? You have collected the ash, and it is not a one day job, it is every day. Whenever you start your power plant, you have to have ash. And in olden days, as I told you, they used to throw in the river, in pond, and that river used to be spoiled. There used to be, as it is, the rivers are dirty now. Every river, so called sacred rivers, are also become problematic, because all these industries, in the name of progress, they leave their, discharge their, this harmful leftovers into the river. That is the easiest thing to do, and this definitely spoils the quality of water. It is undrinkable, it is not usable even for taking bath, forget about taking in the body. You can't wash your clothes also, because if there is acid, the clothes will get torn. What is thermal pollution? Any idea? Steam from low pressure turbine. There is a high pressure turbine, there is a low pressure turbine, there is a reheater. A time will come when you will say enough is enough. You won't again reheat. You won't again pass it through still lower pressure turbine. You will say now we have done enough. Like an exam, you prepare 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, a time will come, you will say, oh, forget about it, let us sleep now. Hoga sab dekha jayega, we will see. So here also, after you have taken work out of that steam, you will say now let it go. Then it passes through a condenser. This is what is written here. And there it is getting reduced to lowest possible temperature. Why? Why do you want to cool it? Why don't you just let it pass to the boiler again? Why do you want to heat it? Because it has to be further heated back to proper temperature and pressure. So why cool and then heat? Yeah. Right, wonderful. That is not one possible, that is the only answer. 1 minus T2 by T1. So, greater the difference between them, the better the efficiency. That is the whole idea of having a condenser, otherwise there was no need of condenser. But when you pass it to this, and when this the outlet of condenser goes to a river, you are spoiling the marine life of that, whatever is there, life is there in that river. There are fishes, there are other things, and they are not used to that temperature. They are used to some given ambient temperature in the river. Now, you are trying to interfere with the nature by externally putting a warm, hot water, that too of a bad quality. It is not a Bisleri water that you are going to put into the river. It is already treated water. So, in order to maximize the thermodynamic efficiency as much as possible, maybe to 40%, that is the maximum we can have. We have to do this, but this raises the temperature of water. Anything you do in life, there is a reaction. Newton's third law of motion still holds good. Action and reaction are equal and opposite. There is some reaction. The reaction is the temperature of water in the sea or river or pond goes up. This threatens sea and downstream water in the river and the marine life, the life of the those who live in that sea or in that river or in that. Even many people have their livelihood based on those fishes, and if those fishes becomes contaminated or sick, someone is going to eat them. And think what havoc you are causing, and because there are persons whose main dish is fish, maybe Bengal, Kerala, coastal people. Anybody whose seafood is a very popular food overseas. Here we only talk of vegetarian, non-vegetarian. There is no another block vegetarian. Any dinner, any social event you go, there will be only vegetarian and non-vegetarian. There is a seafood, there is a Chinese food, there is a continental, there are all sorts of things, Mexican, and so many varieties are there. Now, those who take seafood, they will have a problem if they are living close to a thermal power plant. The story does not stop here. The misfortunes never come alone, as they say. You raise humidity also, because those cooling towers, the fountains, the water coming in the air, that will raise the humidity, and humidity is not good. So, you control humidity. What is AC and what is the difference between cooler and AC? Cooler is increasing humidity, whereas AC is controlling humidity. And nowadays they are claiming to be a hygiene air also coming out of AC. LG is having advertisement like that. Now, do not think transmission lines which are looking harmless and which go for hundreds and thousands of kilometers, Kanyakumari to Srinagar, and from Assam, Guwahati to maybe Junagadh or Kutch, whatever is the furthest city on Pakistan western border. There are thousands of kilometers of transmission lines. When current passes through them, naturally they are live transmission lines. Electromagnetic radiation. You go to transformer, I am sure you must have done experiments on transformer. There is a substation in IIT. I am not sure whether you have seen any substation in IIT. You should have a visit there also, near bank, near hospital or sick bay, whatever you are told that name. And there are so many others. One is in block 4 side, that is the entry or exit, the only entry or exit available now, block 6, block 4, and these main blocks, mechanical and electrical. They make noise, and this electromagnetic radiation coming out also spoils your health. Even this mobile, though it is not proved, they say if you keep it on your this pocket, your heart is affected. If you listen, which the modern day youth goes on, I don't think even morning walk they can't take without this. I'm not sure while taking bath also they carry it with them. If it is waterproof, perhaps yes. And that also has some radiation. Your TV, anything, PC. If you work for greater hours on personal computer, and if you don't have this shield or security, cover or whatever you call it, even with that, you can't stop radiations. That affect your eyes, it affects you by sitting posture, it may create back pain, and above all you may become like me. Me means obese, fat, because you are not moving, you are hours and hours you are sitting. I am happy that in this class nobody is obese. So otherwise the obesity itself is a disease. Lines converging at a large substation mar the beauty of the landscape around. These substations are not monuments where you to visit and see what is going on. It is an eyesore. It mars the natural beauty of land. That's why there are underground substations. That's why there are underground parking. There are multi-storied underground parking in US. In fact, in US universities, the hostels are connected to the institute by underground tunnels, because there is anytime snowfall is happening, it's raining, or so to make it you're immune to you. You can still come under your shorts and t-shirts or whatever you want to wear, and you can walk about a kilometer or so. They are connected, and you can straight go to your classrooms. Well, the alternative is use underground cables. The New York City has no overhead line. It's all underground, the biggest underground cable network in the world. This question is asked normally in IAS and engineering services if you care to give that exam. With electrical as a subject, not with history or geography or psychology as a subject, which is a popular one. Then they will ask you which is the city, where is the most complicated involved cable network in the world. That is the New York. But where is the money? A poor country like India cannot afford underground cables. You also have a radio interference because of transmission line. Since it is a pollution topic we are doing, I thought let us cover in a comprehensive way. Radio interference, or your telephone noise you must be hearing at times, that is all due to several interference. Radio interference is one of them. Corona, I don't know how many of you know corona. You must have done in your undergraduate, I am sure. It gives you hissing noise, it forms a glow, visible, invisible, so several types, several varieties. And it causes loss also, corona loss, which is given by Peake's formula. You must have solved some numericals based on that. Though it is normally neglected, especially in a fair weather condition. If the weather is bad, if it is raining, there is a snow, then it will form easily. Otherwise, higher the voltage, less is the chances of corona. That is one of the advantages you can say when somebody asks you why we should have a transmission at a higher voltage, 800 kV, 765 kV, 400 kV. One of the reason is the corona chances becomes lower. Workers in a power plant are subject to noise. Look at them versus look at those who are working in a corporate sector in air conditioned hall or rooms or chambers. nice ambience, nice illumination, compared to them versus those who work in field, those who work in power plants. Imagine the noise. That is why I want you to go to Badarpur, to Indraprasth, see so many things. What are the service conditions there? Imagine those working in Satpura, there is nothing there, only jungle. Trains pass at regular intervals at a nearby railway line and nothing. You have to live there. Of course, they give you nominal hill allowance or inaccessible area allowance or difficult terrain allowance. That allowance is hardly anything. And it can cause deafness, it can cause anything. Of course, definitely it is not a pleasant sort of ambience to work. Why people take jogging also with a Walkman on, so that they are in the world of music. So the man is always trying to make the ambience as comfortable as possible. What is PSE, Power System Engineering? This was one of the items in today's introductory, that sheet, what is coming, headlines, and the news you get headlines. Similarly, we introduce in the beginning and summary tells you what we have covered. Power system engineering or electric energy systems engineering for you people, because energy word should be brought in, is a challenging task. In fact, you need a civil engineering, you need a mechanical engineering, you need chemical engineering, you need physics, you need chemistry, bio, you name a branch, and it is required for energy engineering. That is why perhaps there is no paper for GATE for energy engineering, because everything is required. It is a challenging task, because all recent scientific advances you must be keeping track to improve the performance. Your job should be always to see how you can improve the profits of the company in which you are serving, how you can make consumers, your customers feel better by your actions, see that they get proper quality power, proper voltage, proper frequency, so that they have no complaints. They do not want to switch. As I told you, there are various companies available. As you can change your toothpaste from Palmolive to Forens to Colgate to Neem to Babool, or name a brand, because there is a choice. Similarly, tomorrow you may like to change your electric company if the company is not good. Latest techniques, the smart control, the intelligent control. Now, you must have a course in intelligent techniques. If you do not, take it outside the center. ANN, artificial neural network. You have. You already studied, but those who are not, so those who have come from physics stream, chemistry stream, read more about that. Genetic algorithm, evolutionary programming, fuzzy logic, neurofuzzy, all these techniques, smart control, expert system, rule based, knowledge based, and so on. If you have done it, then you should apply it when you do your major project. Otherwise, there is no point in knowing them and in studying them. You must try to apply in your major project, then apply them in real life. Whatever you do, you will be doing something after you graduate from here. How much power to generate is a question an electric system engineer has always to answer. Tomorrow, next day, next week, next month, next year, next moment, next hour, depending on what you are trying to do. Are you doing operation problem or planning problem or what? Where? Generate where? Is it Badarpur? Is it Indraprasth? Are we going to take from WREB or Northeast if they have excess, surplus, or a nearby country, Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh if they have excess? It is a win-win situation. They have a power which they do not need. We need power which we do not have. So, it is a win-win situation. When you want to generate? Today, 3 p.m., 6 p.m., 12 midnight? When? All these questions had to be answered by you people, and answered them adequately, optimally, economically, reliably, etc., etc., with minimum pollution. By which fuels? What combination of fuels you want? As I told you, tomorrow bus may be available with diesel, with petrol, with CNG, with hydrogen, multiple fuel, multiple options. And when which option should be exercised? Like you study 4 subjects. Now it is your genius which will tell you 8 to 9 which subject I should study, 9 to 10 which subject I should study, when you should start preparing for first minor, the first day minor rather, and when you should stop preparing for second day minor, third day minor, how much you should prepare now. This even in day to day life, you need to apply your knowledge of optimization, reliability, etc., etc., knowingly, unknowingly, consciously, unconsciously. You need it, and you apply it also. You always feel which bus will take you early. Should it be 6:15? Should it be 6:20? Again, what is your objective function? If you have enough time, if you want seat, maybe 6:20 every 5 minutes. 6:15, if you miss one, next is only after half an hour. Construction. To construct a powerhouse is a big job. Construction of a dam, the Tehri Garhwal is still going on, the Gujarat power plant is still going on. It takes a lot of time. It needs a lot of planning. You have to plan a lot, and planning all the time. Mid-course correction, as time passes. Maintenance. If you don't maintain, any beautiful building will get spoiled, anything. If you don't study regularly, you don't hope to get A grades. This is maintenance here for you means studying regularly, right from July to November or January to April, not start studying only in March. Here we already talked of intelligent control. This is a vast and complex network. The electric network is very vast. It is spread throughout the country. Several 100,000 miles of transmission lines, thousands of substations, hundreds of power plants. Imagine the manpower working today in power industry. I don't know why people don't give first preference to electrical engineering, and that to power systems. Look at BHEL, how many people they employ. Look at MTPC, look at Power Grid, look at NHPC, look at Damodar Valley Corporation, look at Tata Electric companies, TERI, and so on. There are so many companies. What tremendous amount of manpower is required with IT knowledge, with management knowledge. That's why people prefer to do MBA nowadays. If nothing else, IGNOU MBA, which can be done with minimum effort perhaps. You have to worry about economics, you have to worry about reliability and less pollution. This is a multi-objective function. Objective is not just one. For example, here people they say come for PG education, not for getting MTech. Simultaneously trying for IAS, simultaneously for IES, simultaneously trying for MBA, simultaneously going abroad. Nothing wrong in it. After all, you have 24 months to pass. And if you have more than one objective, I don't think there is any problem, unless until you fail in all, then there is better to do one. So that you have to recognize your capability. Planning the operation, improving the operation, and expansion, all the time expansion. Please remember 1000 megawatt to be added. If you don't expand, how do you generate more power? Because old power plants are becoming old. They are going to generate less and less power with your old car is going to give you less and less mileage. It's not going to improve. Whatever you may send it to garage, whatever you may do it, maintenance, it can at best retain its performance. Aging is natural thing. You won't become younger any day. as the days pass, but you can remain as young as you can depending, but maintenance, that is, but you won't become 8-year-old or whatever means. What are the different studies that you have to continue to do round the clock in those load dispatch centers which I told you to visit, Katwara Sarai? I am sure no, you are not going to go anywhere, whatever I am suggesting. But still, it is my job as a teacher to tell you, to guide you. Load flow studies, I am sure you must have done load flow studies in your undergraduate. Load flow studies is a bread and butter of a power system engineer or electric energy system engineer, because it tells you the pulse of the system. Whatever disease you may have, when you go to a doctor, what he or she does first, you put your hand, maybe he does not understand anything, still he has to do this to give you a confidence. Yes, doctor has started his or her job. He may not get even pulse, where is pulse? Still he will hold it and say, okay, what is the problem? In earlier days, they used to tell you the problem, now you have to tell them the problem. See, the old doctors, old Vaidyas, they used to tell you, I think you have taken halwa this morning. They used to tell that, and I have seen with my own experience. Now they will ask you, okay, what are wrongs with you, what are the problems, because they can't find out, and that they use the technology for that. Okay, this X-ray, this test, that test. Anyway, so similarly you have to do load flow, which is bread and butter of a power system engineer, to know 4 main parameters of power systems. What are those 4 main parameters? The voltage, angle, real power and reactive power. You need to know all these 4 guys all the time, and they should be properly behaving all the time. If not, apply your controls: real power control, reactive power control, voltage control, power factor angle control, and bring them back to the required range, required zone. Short circuit studies, stability studies, ELD, economic load dispatch, AGC, automatic generation control, security, state estimation, and so on. There are so many. All these studies you have to continuously do all the time to understand the system, to control the system, and it is called real time monitoring and control. First you have to monitor the system. What does doctor do? He will monitor, he will take your pulse rate, he will take your blood pressure, he will take your temperature if required, he will see your tongue, see your throat, depending on what is wrong, ear or eyes or whatever, and then he will control by writing medication or tests or X-ray or MRI or whatever is required. I think with this we will stop today, and now I would like you to ask me some questions on whatever we have done so far. If you have any questions, even for your minor or anything, if you have any doubt, if not, you are always welcome to come to this office, or you can ring me, take an appointment. 1705 is my number, or at home it is 1958. I live near the main guest house, old campus, and you are free to drop in any time, contact me any time for any problem, any issue, and even now if you have anything, you are most Well, we have not done load flow studies in this course, but you are most welcome to tell the problem.
Did I understand voltage control is required, but I am just unable to understand why flat voltage profile is required. Means
flat voltage profile means 1 plus J 0 or 1 angle 0. That is an ideal thing, like your blood pressure should be 120/80, right? Now, it is not exactly that you have to always maintain flat voltage. You can go within a narrow range of 0.95 per unit to 1.05 per unit. You should not cross 0.95 below or 1.05 above. But in India, the real situation is it can go as low as 0.75, and we work with those sort of voltage. But the ideal thing is the flat voltage profile, that to 1 plus J0. If not, then best is within that zone. So we try to do that, try to bring back by applying various techniques like facts, like SVS and SVC and so on, which we will study. We will do this load flow in detail in next semester in power system planning course 860. Yeah.
So this radiation from the transformers, sir, why they are so much making noise, sir? What is the reason of the noise?
No, that's because of frequency and because of this, those restriction, magnetic restriction. You read our machine book if you want to know detail. Even there is a book on transformers only, written by BHEL engineers, published by Tata McGrail. A copy is there in our center library. That will give you a whole chapter why there is a noise when any instrument or equipment work based on electromagnetics.
So weight also increases.
Weight also increases, and it is harmful for human beings also. Yes. Anything else? If not, then I thank you for today and wish you all the best for Minder.